How do I do it all? The Brezza gives me the power.
All about the Mumbai Indians today. They have arrived in IPL 2025. They're very happy to be at the Wankhede Stadium and they've humbled the Kolkata Knight Riders. Defending champions are off to a slightly rocky start. They had that win against Rajasthan. They've now lost the opening game to RCB and their net run rate's taken a real beating today at the Wankhede. We look back at that game where pretty one-sided affair, to be honest, quite disappointing. But we will ask the questions on the panel on Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricket for Timeout of Sanjay Bangar, Varun and ESPN Cricket for Dustin Silgardo. What were our mid-innings predictions? Who said 12th or 13th over?
I think I said 13th. Made up for last match with getting it
somebody
bang
also
on.
said before 10th over. Who was that?
Who was
Not a very big optimist.
Who was that? I am just there to make you all look good. I can't say that enough times.
The place
How
you're going to is open till midnight, don't worry.
How good, quiet Dustin, how good were the Mumbai Indians today and what could this kind of win just do for their campaign given the last two results? Sanjay?
I think instill the belief because in this high-paced league, after a poor season, there are certain changes. Everybody wants to feel settled. And in that sense, to have a win under the belt and not go down 3 on the trot will be a massive relief for MI.
Yeah, and there's also a lot of small boxes ticked. Ashwini Kumar with the ball, Rickleton's got runs with the bat, and suddenly, even without their big guns necessarily firing, this looks good for MI.
And Surya is continuing his form, which is really, really important. I feel he's the backbone of their batting lineup, especially in the middle order, and it's very, very important for him to keep going this way if they want to win this tournament. Again, Rohit Sharma will have to get into form at some stage, sooner the better. But Ashwini Kumar, what a story. Debut, 4 wickets. Brilliant bowling by him tonight.
What is the story in terms of what you saw today?
Yeah,
Dustin?
so in the second innings, I think the big positive would obviously be Ryan Rickleton. And one thing that I was surprised, he actually hit 3 sixes of Sunil Narine. And actually in the entire history of IPL, there have only been 5 batters, and including Rickleton, who've hit Narine for 3 sixes in one game.
Wow.
And most of these are really old instances, like there's Wriddhiman Saha back in 2014. I think Hardik did it once, KL Rahul did it once, but no one's done it, in fact, since 2020. And for an overseas player to come in and do that against Narine, that I'm sure will be a big positive for Mumbai Indians, that he's playing spin that well.
I think
Also, it's the context of the game. Less pressure in such a scenario where you can actually go hell for leather and try to increase your run rate quotient, because we all know how important it is towards the back end of the tournament, especially with Mumbai Indians. They always are touch and go towards the end. That run rate, this game could maybe be the game which sets them apart from the other team.
Yeah, I mean, I think they would have jumped a few places. They started this game bottom. I'll just wait for the net run rate calculations. They might have jumped 4 or 5 places in this early stage. But just on Rickleton, it would be quite sweet that Quinton de Kock was in the opposition today, Sanjay, because when they picked up Rickleton and they backed him even ahead of Will Jacks, this is the man they want opening at the top and potentially as the man who played Quinton de Kock's role for that very strong MI team that used to win. Does he look the part in terms of T20 batsmanship?
See, not only in terms of skill set, being a left-hand batter and a wicket keeper, even the mechanics that he has are quite similar to what Quinton de Kock has. And the impressive part for me was that how he batted in the Champions Trophy as well. He got a fabulous inning. He scored 100 in there, and he was very good against spin.
Very good, yeah.
Stays low. Quite subcontinental in his approach against spin, and I wasn't really surprised that he can play spin that well, and he's shown not only in Champions Trophy but also in IPL now.
I think they're having a pattern of finding clones. They found a mini AB. Now they found a mini Quinton de Kock.
Mini AB is not there anymore, no? This year, I don't think
Dual Brevis, no, and Stubbs also they let go of. They've got a lot of young South African talent in the past and let them go, but Rickleton hopefully is.
Brevis was still with them in the MI Cape Town team, if I remember. Pretty decent enough season. But anyway, back to the stories of today. You had something to add?
No, and Rickleton also, I mean, it looked like he also has some of the traditional shots, against length bowling, against pace. He was quite patient also, willing to play just regular drives. Obviously, again, context of the game, not a huge target to chase today. But do you think he's somebody who has kind of those different gears and not just someone who goes like hard like a Travis Head from ball one?
He's got an organized game. That's what I can see, that he plays as per the merit of the ball, not necessarily a lot of premeditation. And that can be a bit of a negative impact in terms of being very premeditative in what's going to come and how he's going to play. So For me, from a distance, it seems that he's reacting to what is coming at him, not necessarily, preempting a lot of deliveries.
Yeah, I like that you mentioned that Champions Trophy 100. Afghanistan, I think, was the game. It's the first South Africa game in the Champions Trophy where he got that 100.
Yeah, I believe it was this.
Lots of spin and played it well. But yeah, very good, Ryan Rickleton. Game set up by the bowlers, though, in fairness. So what worked for Bolt and Chahar tonight? Is this just Wankhede conditions?
I mean, Bolt started off brilliantly, pretty much putting any threat to rest from Sunil Narayan, which is really, really important. I feel the trend of the whole tournament is whoever takes first blood from the batting team or the bowling team is where the game pretty much ends up, because we're not seeing too many fight backs. Like we discussed in the halftime show, teams are pretty much going with it, not really pausing and trying to rebuild. So if you get early wickets, you're pretty much setting yourself up to be in a really good position.
Yeah, Matt, I think, is brilliant bringing this up. And I actually, if I could be wrong, I don't know if I saw something on social media where Ashwin's YouTube channel analysed yesterday's game and said that the game was lost in the power play. But just to make that conversation bigger, power play conversations or just the power play, who wins the power play is resulting in the result going that team's way. Is that something that is often discussed? Does it take even more importance now, Sanjay Bangar, on power plays? If you strike in the power play, you either get well ahead or you lose some wickets. That sets the tone for the game?
It gets you ahead in the game, but now with the impact sub rule, it may not necessarily the case, because by getting ahead in the power play, you mean that, okay, as a bowling team, you're looking at picking up 2 or 3 wickets, but that still means that you still have a lot of batting left in the shed. Unlike in the past, wherein your probably batting would end at 7 for most teams. So I don't really think that could be the case, but it is, as Varun rightly said, more so from a batting point of view, that if you lose a lot of wickets, is there somebody in that middle order at number 5 who can say that, okay, let me try and get not to 220 still, but let's try and get to 175, which could give your bowlers a chance.
I think the only exception so far in 12 games has been that Ashutosh Sharma innings, where
and
Delhi were completely behind in the power play, lots of wickets lost, and that's happening rarely though, otherwise the tone seems to be set.
Last season there were quite a few games where teams did lose 4 wickets in the power play and still got to decent totals, even 180, 200, because of, as Sanjay said, the impact player. You actually do have that depth. So last season it was actually seen that even losing 4 wickets in the power play, you can still recover. But I think it was just with KKR, even through the middle overs, they kept losing wickets.
But I think there's been a big shift from last year to this year. It's very obvious that teams are just going. They're not really willing to slow down. They're not really willing to build a partnership. And in that context, I say that it's very, very important to get wickets up front, because then teams are always feeling behind. Teams are always feeling like they're behind the 8 ball and they're not leading the game. There's this like tension which doesn't really have to be there.
Yeah, I mean, if we have to go back to the conversation we had at halftime, this is where you'd like to think that when you named Ajinkya Rahane captain and kept him in the team, that you felt like he's our guy for these occasions. When Narayan and de Kock go quickly, Rahane should, play, almost drop down and secure the innings in some form. But it's not something which even players like Rahane would be comfortable with, I'm trying to sort of assume. Where they're saying, well, we can play the shots as well. Why do you think that
I think a number 3 might be too high to play that role. It's probably more, maybe today Venki or Rinku Singh, those numbers, right? Once you're 3 down, 4 down, that's when maybe the sensible batting needs to come. And a number 3 you would still expect to just kind of go hard, right? And in this modern IPL era.
See, for KKR, Shreyas Iyer was brilliant last season at 3, and Ajinkya Rahane is batting in that position. And Ajinkya Rahane, we are seeing a new avatar of Ajinkya Rahane, wanting to be a different Ajinkya Rahane.
Right.
And that's what got him success at CSK, because he batted in a different fashion there. Does he have to step back a little bit and rethink? Because him and Raghuvanshi are pretty similar in terms of the role. So is there a place for 2 batters in a lineup in such fast-paced dynamics now, in the manner in which the team want to play? Could be an argument and could be a point of discussion.
But I think my point here is that today was exactly the day for that. Even if on some days they may feel like they don't have the hitting ability, then on those days you can promote Russell or Rinku or Venki. But on today's day, even though they're batting at 3 and 4, could they just temper the innings.
I don't think with the language that has been spoken, with the expectation, I don't think number 3 or 4 can fall back and bat differently in opposition to what top order is batting. So I think that thing of batting or going hard at the bowling right from the word go would stand true for batting up to number 4, 5, and somebody batting lower down the order may just have to assess and see what a competitive score could be.
I wonder if that also means that perhaps if you can split the two, Raghuvanshi and Rahane, where instead of getting Manish Pandey as almost a panic button impact sub to try and secure the innings and keep your hitters for later, if you then send Venki ahead or you send maybe even Rinku ahead, then if there's a real collapse, you still have KKR are a rare team that actually have 2 batters that can play like that. SRH don't have batters that can play like that. But could it be something they can work on? Split the two instead of what the conventional thinking would be that if we lose 2 early wickets, then Rahane and Raghuvanshi first.
I mean, look, there's a pattern emerging, okay. In the first match, we thought that their middle order collapse was just a blimp on the radar, but it's happened the second time now, and it's happened in a big way with them infusing a sub, you know. So, I mean, this might just be a big cause for concern for KKR, where generally their middle order is very reliable, but in 2 games they've lost. It's been a total collapse. So I think what Sanjay Bhai is saying is right, that they might have to at some point get somebody to steady the ship at number 5 or 6.
Here I would want to get exactly the number of matches Raghuvanshi played as an impact player last season. Now he's part of the playing 11 more so.
Just a second.
And if there's Ramandeep available, as Raunak was suggesting, that split can happen, and Raghuvanshi can still be an impact sub instead of being a part of the batting 11 right on the sheet, and have Ajinkya and him batting at 3 and 4.
I think this year as well, when they're bowling first, Raghuvanshi is the batting impact sub. But when they're batting first, he is in the...
So 5 games last year where he was subbed in or subbed out, depending on whether they batted first or not. Otherwise, their impact subs have varied. It was what Sanjay is saying to a degree. It was Raghuvanshi and Ramandeep in some games. Now, of course, it looks like Ramandeep is a bit of a mainstay in that team, and you can understand why. But it's an interesting thought there, because they have such a long batting that why do you need to, you know...
but today they were batting first, so I mean...
So that role, in effect, of somebody steadying the ship, if there was early damage, can be that impacts who bats in a particular fashion, like Raghuvanshi.
But then Sanjay, isn't it also like the prerogative of the support staff to send out a message? There are timeouts and stuff like that. You know what? Why don't we just get together and play out a few overs? At least play the 20 overs.
No, it's like you drive a lot of cars, and I know that you're fascinated by fast cars. So you want to drive in top gear, and suddenly you say, okay, now from that auto shift you go to a manual and drive at number 1, gear number 1, gear number 2. Doesn't happen in the top order.
But it's fun driving the manual cars also, you know. It's
but I think he's saying that what if the car starts making some noise?
Yeah, what if your alternator falls off and your engine is stuttering? But see, look,
I think that can happen. That can happen in the 9th or the 10th over, or probably in the second time.
That's what I'm saying. In the second time out. I mean, if we take today as an example, Ramandeep had 3 batsmen to bat with. He could have easily played till the 20th over. That's what I'm saying. And that's when you get messaging in, and he had no intent to slow down at all.
Who's that?
Ramandeep.
Ramandeep, yes. I mean, I think the game was really going well before Ramandeep came in. But I still genuinely, on your point, want to know, since Mr. Bangar has been in those positions, all the coaches, and you know, these days the coaching staff is also very strong, you know, 10, 15 people at times. Many of them take the field in the dugout. Do you ever discuss something like this when the team has a batting collapse, like, okay guys, you know, take it easy, or let's fight our way to 160, 170? I have come to believe these are more studio conversations than actually what happens on the field.
No, it does happen, and in the simulations that we have in the pre-season, these what-if situations we do put up in front of the players and try and navigate through that. I mean, you pick a bowler, you wait for maybe a couple of, be in the game, hang on for a couple of big overs. So those are the conversations that you certainly have when you go out there and have little conversations in the timeout as well.
Let's take some viewer questions coming in right now, and I hope all of you have followed the game and know that you have to join us much earlier than usual. Given how I've made light work of this. Just on those points, if you talk about high volume player, High Skeptic says Venki Iyer is supposed to be that high volume player, but he's not consistent enough. I wonder if that is the expectation from Venki, to be the glue of the middle order. And I mean, there's obviously huge expectation from him with the price tag.
I would bat him at number 4.
Right.
So that he has a more responsible role, and then because of the experience, he's got quite a good pedigree. He's played for the country. He's been around for what now 5-6 seasons now. So he's a guy who has to be at 4, gives you that right-left combination if needed, and hence my point of
Keeping him at 4 regardless.
And keeping Raghuvanshi as an impact sub.
Interesting. And if you want to repeat your point, I think it was a very interesting one. What you're observing as Venki, the batter, who you're saying looks like it's just he's late on the ball, which is a bit concerning perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, if it happens once, if it happens twice, that, okay, could have been a good ball. But if it happens 3 times in the same innings of 9 balls, I think, today,
yes.
There is a pattern, because he got out, he was late on the ball. A couple of catches went down, he was late on those balls as well. Like, I really felt he was meeting the ball way behind than where he wanted to meet it.
Right.
But I'm sure KKR have a good support staff, and they're going to have a look at him as well.
More questions, and these are some good ones as well. Akshat is asking whether the new T20 style is becoming a boom or bust game. Either teams score 200 plus, or they completely lose the plot because nobody believes in rebuilding.
To an extent that stands true, and if there are couple of teams which are playing in that fashion, I would pick up 3 teams now which are trying to play in that fashion. One is SRH, obviously. KKR wants to bat in that fashion. LSG's made a statement by the choice of the players that they do want to bat in that fashion as well. And again, RCB has gone back to that template. So there are some teams apart from them who still want to bat as the game goes, not necessarily aim at 75-80s in the power play. So it's a mix of both.
Okay, let's take some more questions that are coming in. Rohit Sharma is a question. Abhishek saying, Rohit Sharma's form, is there something about the IPL that he just doesn't take as seriously as, say, international cricket?
I'll just throw in one figure there. Sometimes we look at control percentage as a marker of whether batter's in form or not. Rohit, I know he's not played that many balls this season, but his control percentage is just about 55%. So basically only 1 in 2 balls is he actually middling it. Otherwise he's mistiming or missing the ball. So, and today he got out to Russell, who he actually had a very good matchup with before this. Russell had never got Rohit out in about 80-90 balls. Rohit had struck at 150. So yeah, I mean, based on that, do you think it's a concern or still too early?
I think it is a concern, especially the way he got out. I've never seen Rohit try to pull a ball from about 8th stump to mid-wicket. That was not a choice of shot you would generally see Rohit play. But knowing Rohit, last year there were so many doubts on him. He suddenly out of nowhere got 100. I mean, he's a class player. He's won 5 IPLs. It's very, very important for him to come into form and get Mumbai Indians off to a good start if they want to win the title this year.
Let's take some more. Hanish, was this the kind of pitch where both runs and wickets come fast? You know the Wankhede well. Was it just a typical Wankhede? Typical
Wankhede pitch, and there wasn't really too much movement. We saw a little bit of movement, and that was more exaggerated when Spencer Johnson was bowling, wherein he cut a few batsmen in the half and it was darting around a little bit. But in the first innings, I don't think there was any movement. So it was just probably the intent of going from ball 1 and not falling back on plan B or plan C that actually made KKR sort of a no competition in this particular match.
Right. There are quite a few questions now saying after Ashwini's performance today, who makes way for Bumrah? There's a combination, there's some suggestions. Hanmeet is saying, looking at the surface, they'll have to leave either Vignesh Puttur out or Ashwini out if they don't want the extra seamer. But such an impressive debut. We spoke at length about him at our mid-inning show. Sanjay Bangar mentioned the story of how he saw him first when they were trialling players for Punjab.
But worth mentioning, Deepak Chahar also had a good game today. So
very good.
It's going to be hard to drop Chahar if they want to drop
Deepak Chahar isn't going anywhere.
Yeah, well, in that case, it'll probably have to be one.
I don't think anybody's going anywhere because I don't see Bumrah coming in anytime soon.
So, okay, that's a completely different one.
No, but if at all Bumrah has to come in, Mumbai Indians wants to have those 2 left-hand bowlers with them all the time. Most of their successful IPLs have had two left arm bowlers, and I know that the management and DJ more so believes in that. So
Who's DJ?
Dhananjay.
the analyst there who takes a lot of tactical calls. So I would say Deepak Chahar could be the guy who may just have to miss out if Bumrah
That
is
could
going to
happen.
be back.
That's why I mentioned that he had a good game today, because
I
what are the
never
other
doubt you.
options?
I'm just playing. I'm a layman. I'm with my knowledge of a novice. So you have to forgive me for all that. Right. Anything else that we haven't missed out today? Like I said, Ashwini Kumar, we've spoken at length about him. I hope he's player of the match. I'm pretty sure Ashwini would be your player of the match today. All right. I think we'll leave it there. There's still a lot of questions on KKR, but the theme I'm noticing is they win one game and everything's great. Another team loses another game and
I mean,
all sorts
that's the
of
thing. We
questions.
might be, criticizing them, but I wonder what the conversation is in their dressing room. For all you know, they're just saying. Do you think there's a chance they're just saying, no, this is the way we play, and it's okay if this happens once in a while, or will they be concerned? Do you think?
Yeah, KKR.
They have the cushion of having won the championship last season, so I don't think that the conversations will start happening anytime soon. Let's see how the season pans out.
Yeah.
Okay, I will just take this one question because it's coming just in time. KKR without Gambhir doesn't feel like the same team. Anybody?
No, I mean, it's too early to say. Three games into a season is too early to say KKR without Gambhir and KKR without Shreyas and stuff like that. We'll have to at least wait till 5 games to see what happens.
Okay, there you go. Nice, very nice. Let's go to a rapid fire review of the game. Varun, you know how this works. Sanjay Bangar, just quick fire responses to recap this game tonight. Varun, let me start with you. What clicked for Trent Bolt and Deepak Chahar tonight?
I think Deepak Chahar realized that the ball isn't swinging much, changes lengths really smartly, bowled a few good bounces. Trent Bolt, as usual, I mean, just sublime swing bowling. I think that the Narine wicket just set off a big collapse.
All right, Sanjay Bangar, what impressed you the most about Ashwini Kumar's outstanding debut?
Hitting lengths consistently, using the short ball really well. I believe that those are the tools that he showed tonight, but he has a few tricks more in his bag as well.
Okay, Dustin, I think you wrote this question. It's coming to you. 5 dismissals in 19 balls. Is Bolt living rent-free in Narayan's head?
Yeah, probably.
To have this collapse with batting till number 9, Sanjay Bangar, what do Kolkata need to learn?
They need to learn that there are going to be times wherein 200 is not always the norm, or 220 is not always the norm. Historically, teams have won defending 175 as well.
Okay, Varun, what will the runs that Ryan Rickleton has got today do for Mumbai's batting groove?
Very, very important runs, especially when Rohit's not getting runs. If your other openers getting runs, that does provide a little stability up top, and Mumbai Indians have been missing that since last season, so this is great signs for them.
Okay, this one is for all 3 of you, and you can add a line up with a yes and no. 0, 8 and 13 is Rohit Sharma's early season form a cause for concern for MI. Dustin?
Well, he just scored that innings in the Champions Trophy final, so I'll say right now, no.
Varun?
I don't think so. Player as great as him, he can get into form at any point in time.
Sanjay?
A scratchy start is a good start.
Okay, on that note, what a wonderful return to Sanjay Bangar on the Cricket Info couch. He's unfortunately, it's short-lived because we're leaving him much sooner than we thought. The game was so short. But Varun, thank you very much. Sanjay, always a pleasure. And Dustin, good to have you as always. I think Matt is going to be put to work tomorrow, but I'll see you again very soon. Quick points on where these teams go from here. Because I always find it interesting what your next team is. KKR go back home. They're going to have a couple of games at the Eden Gardens. They play the Sunrisers, which is a really big game, you sense, for both teams with the indifferent start. That's on Thursday. And then they've got the day game against Lucknow, which has now been rescheduled to the 8th. That's for KKR. MI will again be on the road. They're going to Lucknow on Friday before returning to play RCB at the Wankhede. So much fun in the IPL. Thank you very much to the panel. Thank you for sending in your questions and comments. Do join us every day. Build up to tomorrow's game will be just before the toss on Maruti Suzuki Arena Presents ESPN Cricket Info Timeout. Look forward to your company then. Good night.
How do I do it all? The Brezza gives me the power.